Hello trader, welcome back to deeppocketsforex. We'll be giving you our weekly forex forecast for NZD-CHF, looking at whatever is happening here and this up move here, this recent up move. We can tell that price may give a drop here, may give a drop, slightly breaking this previous low. This is on the 4-hour. This is on the 4-hour, and if you look into the 1 day as well, you can see that there's a chance that we might get this drop here, slightly breaking this previous low here. And after we get this drop, price may continue higher like that. That is expected. We're expecting a drop here, then price may push higher. And alternatively, we can get a deeper corrective structure here, then price continues higher. That is what we have on NZD-CHF. Going back to the 4-hour, just like stated here, we are expecting this drop. This drop is what we're expecting. Structure shows this drop here. This is GBP USD. Now for GBP USD, we're having price move like this. You can see that it's given this kind of structure here. Based on this current movement, this current structure, we would expect a drop here. We would expect a drop which is expected to break this previous low and break this previous low. That is what we are getting from structure. Any move that takes place here is unexpected. It's a movement that we would choose to ignore, but our strategy shows this drop here. That is what we have in mind. So if price decides to continue up like this, there is a pair that we will not interact with. But on the other hand, we are interested in this drop. What we are interested in taking action on is seeing price move lower like this, and this drop is expected to break this previous low and this previous low. That is what we have based on structure. So you should expect this move this next week like that. So price can move, drop, corrective structure, a pullback here, then price starts to move like this, or we can just have a sharp move like this. That is what we're expecting on GBP USD. This is NZD-CAD. Now for NZD-CAD, this next week, you can expect price to push lower like this, drop up to around this level here. It can either be in a form of a corrective structure, or it can just be in a form of an impulse down. But price is expected to continue higher from this movement here. After this pullback, from this pullback here, price is expected to continue higher. So if you like to trade NZD-CAD, you can wait for this pullback to around this area here. Then price is expected to move higher. Corrective structure or just a pullback. But price is expected to make a pullback here or a correction, then continue higher. So if you're looking for trading this big movement, you can wait to trade it accordingly. Also keep in mind that price can also shoot like this here, but if it shoots like this and you want to find entry, it's risky to just enter from here. It's wiser to be able to enter on pullbacks like this. Drop, then you're in for an up. So right from this area, it does not mean that when the market opens, you get this, you start seeing price moving down, you immediately jump in. You should follow your entry strategy and what it says. So if your entry strategy gives you an opportunity to buy from here, that's good. Now you can buy. But if price pulls back and you catch a buy from here and price decide to continue to move lower like this, and then maybe you're taken out, and then you start saying but this guy said price is gonna move from here, then you're not following your entry strategy. You should be able to follow your entry strategy and have a set of rules that lead you and guide you for you to be in a trade. So on NZD-CAD, just like I said, we're expecting a pullback here, and then we're looking forward for an up move. That is what we're forecasting. Just as we've been forecasting, this is NZD-USD. We've been forecasting this up move on NZD-USD. That's what we've been telling you. We've been telling you that direction is up. Direction is up right from this area here, and you can see here we got an up move. Price pullback just as expected, and then price is now moving higher. Now from here, if you're interested in taking this, expect a pullback here or a corrective structure, then price may move up one more time. It may move up one more time. If you're interested in either this or this and you know how to trade it accordingly, then that's great. You can go for it. But you should be able to follow your entry strategy. What your entry strategy says, then that's what you should follow. But as of now, what we're forecasting is price can give a pullback here, then continue higher one more time. This is Euro GBP, And for Euro GBP, this is a drop that we've been following on our inner circle. This is a drop that we've been following, and you can see that we got this drop here all the way up to around this area, and price is still just moving lower, Now let me just move to the 8 hour here. Now based on what's happening here, we can either expect price to start moving like this up to around this area, just a pullback like that, or we can have a corrective structure starting to develop here. So what I'm saying is that from here, price is expected to move higher, either in a form of correction or in a form of an impulse. So you should expect price on Euro GBP to start moving up. That is what we're expecting. So if you'd like to trade this, you should be on the lookout for this movement this next week. Now let's move on to the next pair. What we have here is GBP CHF. Now for GBP CHF, we're expecting a drop here. We're expecting price to move lower. Now as you can see, price has decided to move up one more time, but this is not a surprise, because in when you get to wave analysis, you'd realize that there's always chances for such movements, and there's a way you can interpret this, and it's something that is not that is a surprise. So from here, as we got this impulse move, structure has not changed. Structure still stands that we have a drop that's expected here. Even if we moved up one more time, this is just an extension. It's an extended wave. So if price moved up, breaking this previous high and up to this level, we're still to expect price to start pushing lower this next week. So how things can happen here, we can either have an impulse move, then get a corrective structure, then a drop like this. Alternatively, from here where price is, we can have a corrective structure like this, then price may move one more up like this. Corrective structure, then price may move one more up, breaking this previous high. Then this drop here, it can follow through, because this drop is needed. It can either come from here or come from this point here. After breaking this previous high, we can have this drop here, but this drop is needed. Even if price can give a corrective structure like this, then up, then give another corrective structure, then up like this, all the way up to this position here, we would still be reading structure step by step to see if it would move one more high, or if it's already ready now to drop. But as of now, we are waiting to see how price behaves here. During this next week, we can now tell that, okay, now this is what's gonna happen. Now that's on GBP CHF. Let's move on to the next pair. This is USD CHF. Now you all know that for USD CHF, we've been talking about a drop here. This past week we talked about this corrective structure to complete, then price would start moving down, and it moved up. Now we can expect price to start moving like this, all the way down to around this area. Or alternatively, price, if it gives a certain structure here, if we get something like this, a corrective structure, then one more down up to around this area, slightly breaking this previous low, I'm afraid we might push one more up, then we can have this drop continue from here. That's what's likely to happen. So if you are currently holding a sell here, you should manage your trade, and you should be able to observe what's happening here this next week. Be ready to observe what's happening here this next week. This is Euro USD. Now for Euro USD, like we've said, around this level here, we can expect price to move higher. We can expect this movement up. So from here, expect this corrective structure to complete, then now price can start moving like this, at least to around this area here. Now that is what we're to expect on Euro USD. That is the structure that we are to expect. Expect this correction to complete, then price can start moving higher. Then we can expect something like this and up to around this area. That is what we're expecting on Euro USD. This is USD CAD. Now for USD CAD, around this area this past week, we're expecting price to start showing signs of up move. We're expecting price to start showing signs of up move, but as you can see, it's not showing any movement up. Instead, we're getting that extra drop. So based on what we are getting here, we can expect price to give a bigger correction like this. You can expect price to give a bigger correction like this, if at all it's not an impulse. But we are waiting to see how price unfolds. If we get a sudden impulse here, then maybe get a corrective structure here, that would be totally something different. We can expect an up move from structure and an impulse move, price to start moving like this. Also, there's also a chance that from where price is, we can start having price moving like this, which also means something different in the market. And then we'll be able to act accordingly to what we are getting. So as of now, we're just waiting to see what happens. Right now, I can't really say expect impulse or expect this. We are waiting to see what happens here, and then whatever that happens, that's how we'll be reacting to the market based on what's happening at that particular moment. So on USD/CAD, you can either expect an impulse here, and if you get an impulse here, we can expect price to give a corrective structure and give more up. And we can also have a corrective structure like this, which also means something different. So USD/CAD, we're on the wait. If you don't know how to trade this, if we get signs of up and you don't know how to trade it, just set it aside for now, because it's a little tricky. Just set it aside. This is gold, and for gold, as you all know, that from here the direction was up. We focused at this up move from here, and this drop, we focused at this movement, we focused at this, and we've just been focusing gold step by step. So right now you can see we had an impulse, we had a drop again here. There was also a chance to move up like this, breaking this previous high, and then getting a bigger drop like this, a bigger drop. Also from here where price is, if we're able to get a corrective structure like this, price can give this drop here up to around this area, here, or maybe slightly breaking this previous low, then from here we can expect price to move up like this. And if price moves up, expect it to break this previous high, That's our focus on gold. And some pairs are not included in this analysis, and there's a reason for that. Some of these pairs, I want to predict pairs that are clear. So that's why intentionally I would intentionally just put some pairs aside and not include them in the analysis, mainly because I want to give you pairs that are clear. If I predict gold, it has to be a clear structure so that I'm able to give you my best opinion. So if I don't include a particular pair, maybe like Euro/CAD, and then someone says, where is Euro/CAD? Where is this pair? I did not include it on purpose because structure is not clear. So I want to give you an analysis that is clear. So I hope I've answered some of you that like to say, where is Euro/CAD? Where is GBP/USD? I didn't include it because it's not clear. That's it. So let's move on to the next pair. This is CHF/JPY. For CHF/JPY, we can expect price to move like this, or if we get a sudden impulse here, we can expect price to give a corrective structure, then one more down, then maybe a corrective structure, then one more down, then more will be communicated later. That is what we have to expect. If at all this is the pivot, if at all it has completed its movement. But from the look of things, this impulse move has completed its movement. So we can expect either a pullback or a reversal here, or a correction from this point. That's on CHF/JPY. This is a USD/JPY, and for USD/JPY, you can expect a movement here like this, up to around this area, or it can either come as drop, correction, drop, correction, drop, or it can either come as just an impulse move. But a pullback is expected to around this area. You can expect a pullback to around this area this next weeks. That's on USD/JPY. Alternatively, we can have this drop just as a corrective structure like this. So if you're able to catch a sell here, and you have price moving like this, you should be able to manage your trade, because this would mean something different. It would mean price would not get all the way up to this area. As you trade, let me just give you an advice. As you trade, you look for entry. You're not supposed to be rigid. If you're able to catch entry here expecting a sell, it's not like you just keep on holding that sell. Even if you realize that structure shows something different, you should be able to read structure and manage your trade, exit if necessary. So that's my advice to you. So right now we are to expect a drop all the way up to around this area, but if you see signs of continuation and you're in that drop, that sell, you should be able to exit. Okay, let's move on to the next pair. This is AUDJPY. This is AUDJPY, and for AUDJPY this past week we talked about this up move continuing higher. We said that we're expecting price to continue moving higher on AUDJPY. So this movement, if you're able to catch this movement, because this was shared right from this area, we shared this pullback, and then we said when it completes, price is expected to move higher. If you like, we can visit our previous videos and just look for this prediction. We said price is expected to give a pullback here, then move higher. So right from this area, you can either expect price to pull back up to around maybe this around this area, then moves higher. So this can be either a pullback or a corrective structure. So then price would start moving higher. This will be the last movement, the last wave up, slightly breaking this previous high like that. Then we can give you the next opinion on AUDJPY. But as of now, this is what we have.